What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Chosen Podcast. I'm Wes with the Chosen Ones, Homo Student Athlete Empowerment. I got a very special guest host today.
Emphasis on very special.
Very little emphasis on very special. No, I'm just kidding. I got my little sister.
What's up?
Yeah. So this is a special episode here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
For those that don't know, this is Nikki Trammell, my little sister.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, the reason why people do the chosen ones, right? Because they love me. Okay, sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm gonna keep that in there. But yeah. You just had a birthday. How old did you turn?
29.
Okay. God is watching.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees you lying.
Mm-hmm.
How old did you turn?
29 plus 1.
29 plus 1 equals 30.
I did. I just turned 30.
30.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. How's your body been feeling since?
It's an adjustment. 30, you know, you start cramping for no reason. Pains, tweaks, muscles start jumping and feel,
That's how it be.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it be. I told you about an hour or so ago that I made the best purchase of my life, and it's a muscle stimulator. I'll be using that thing about 5 hours a day.
Where was my birthday present?
I gave you a backpack.
You did, but the muscle stimulator would have been more helpful.
Is that what you want?
No, I like my backpack.
Okay. I mean, buying a muscle stimulator is kind of admitting like it's over. You're old.
No.
So.
Never.
But anyway, I'm excited to have you on the episode here. I think this is really going to help a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
I think it's going to help, obviously, student athletes. That's the people that we're talking to.
Yeah.
So if you're a student athlete that maybe you're playing 3 sports, maybe you have a full house at home.
Yeah.
Shout out R.I.P. Danny Tanner. Anyway. Maybe you're a student athlete that, you know, your parents put a lot of pressure on you to perform in the classroom as well. Mm-hmm. I think you mentioned this before. Maybe you have a job on top of all that.
Mm-hmm. Right? But even in pressures at home. Like maybe you go to school all day and you go home and you're with your siblings and you got to be the mom or dad until parents get home from work at night. Or
Yeah.
So
I remember I basically raised you. I was tired of it.
Listen. No, you did not. Shout out to Wendy.
I did it.
Wendy and Petey.
Shout out Big Sis and Big Bro. Yeah, for sure. But what are we talking about today?
So today we're talking about self-care.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
Because we all need a little bit of self-care. A lot of self-care.
Absolutely. Every day.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's something that you have a passion for, so I'm really excited to get into that. But before we get into it, I don't really know your background or where you come from. I want to hear that. And also, your student athlete background too.
Yeah. So a little bit about my background. So I got a master's in social work with a concentration in school social work. Master's level, you know. No, and I've just always been an athlete growing up. I mean, I had to keep up with Wesley and Petey, and so I always did. I'm multiple sports: basketball, softball, volleyball, soccer. I was a 3-sport athlete in high school. But then I think more like my sophomore and junior year, I really focused on basketball. Yeah. I like had the dream of wanting to do college basketball and wanting to play at the higher level. So that's about me.
Yeah. So when did you start to feel that pressure, I guess, from sports, and also what brought that pressure, if there's like a source?
I would say it probably was sophomore, junior year in high school. So I played all 4 years in varsity. And it was not like freshman, sophomore year, like they were the upperclassmen, like we had those leaders and everything. And then once they left, like junior year, I was the veteran on the team. Like I was the leader. I was had to like fill those roles and step in. And that's when it was like it was a lot.
For sure.
I mean, looking back now, it was like, oh, it's high school basketball. But no, like when you're in it and like when basketball, like you want that to be your future and like you want to perform well and you have to perform well in order for a team to even be successful.
No doubt.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure on a high school kid.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if you had the same experience as I did. So I played freshman or varsity freshman year too. Okay. And immediately I walked through the doors of Jensen High School. The teacher, you know how teachers take roll. We the only black people in there, so they don't even look. They're like, Nikki? Oh, yeah, she's here. Yeah. But anyway, the first day, though, it'd be like, Wes Trammell? Wes Trammell? You're Pete's brother, aren't you? I got one question for you. Are you going to be better at basketball? We'll see. Did you see that? Did you deal with that?
I feel like I probably got it worse.
Maybe.
Like 3 times worse. Because I would like walking in, I was already Wesley's little sister, Pete's little sister. Like that was my identity.
Yeah.
And it's part of it still is today. People will see me and be like, "Oh, how's like, hey, you're Wesley's sister, right?
Yeah.
How's he doing? How's Wesley doing? How's Pete doing? Like, how am I doing?
How are you doing?"
No, but and I like, oh, Wesley's little sister. Like, that was that pressure to be a Trammell and be good at basketball, and that was really felt like all they cared about. At sometimes, like you walk into class and after a game, and they'd be like, "Oh, how'd you play last night? Like, how about I need help with math, sir?"
Exactly.
Like,
exactly. Shout out Principal Devendorf.
Yeah.
One day he came in, like, observed one of our classes, and you remember Mr. Velp. Yeah, so he had a couch in his class.
Okay.
And for that week, I think every week people rotated. They got to sit on the couch for their seat.
Yeah.
And Principal Devendorf was sitting in there. So I was like, man, do I got to kick the principal out the seat? Like, what's going on? So I went over. I said, hey, Mr. Devendorf, that's my seat. You mind?
Yeah.
He was like, the way you played yesterday, you can have any seat you want. I'm like, yo, this is how it feels.
Yeah.
This is how it feels. But yeah, I definitely felt the pressure too, though. Like my very first game at Grand Haven, the longest drive ever. I'm nervous. So I'm watching the JV game and I'm just like, I don't even know if I can play with these cats, let alone varsity. So get out to the game. We dress up or whatever. I didn't say anything to anybody. I feel like whole warm-ups, all that. So we run out, you do the little circle, right? And then we're doing layup lines. We're warming up right in front of Grand Haven's student section. First thing I hear, you'll never be like your brother. I'm like, dang, can I play a game yet?
Yeah.
Like, so the pressure is real. So I'm sure people can relate that have older siblings, but you had to deal with it 2 times. So yeah. So yeah, that's what's up. So want to get into self-care.
Yeah.
The meat of this conversation. Let's get right into it. So when did you feel like self-care was starting to become important to you? And could you remember maybe a moment or like an area in your life that really triggered that?
I'm sure I probably needed it like in high school. I definitely needed it, just struggling with like anxiety and like, but mine manifested in more like physical things. So like stomach, headaches, like, I don't know how many doctor's appointments mom made me because I was always just complaining about my stomach hurting, my head hurting. And like looking back, like that was just me holding in all that tension and all that stress and everything. Right. So I probably could have used it in high school, but I really noticed in college, like with my classes and with playing sports. At one point I was a 2-sport athlete, like playing rugby and basketball.
Right.
And I just like, it was too much.
Yeah.
Like it just being too much. And then obviously after having Nina, that's when I was like, okay, for sure. Like something's gotta give. I gotta do something.
Yeah. So tell the people when you had Nina.
So I had Nina So it was May 14, 2014. So that was my third year in college, my junior year. That was my second year at Davenport. I was 3 games into my rugby season. And we had started preseason for basketball, and that's when I'd found out I was pregnant with her, and then had her at the end of that year. Took the summer off, and then went back to play rugby my last year.
Yeah. So go ahead and flex on the people. Flex on them.
What am I flexing?
Did you drop out of school?
Absolutely not.
And you said you kept playing what?
Rugby.
After having a what?
A baby.
A whole child.
A whole baby.
A whole child.
Yes.
Proud, big bro. Yeah.
Yeah, finished school and then went back to get my master's. Like, Nina was gonna see her mom succeed.
Absolutely.
So
talk about pressure. So you realized kind of when you needed it, when did you really start to be serious about it and implement that in your daily life?
So, healthy or unhealthy?
Go unhealthy first.
Unhealthy?
Yeah.
Unhealthy started way earlier than it should be, but we're going to admit in college. And that caught like a lot of drinking, heavily drinking.
Yeah.
Like you're in school, you're in your classes, and like I didn't have classes Friday, so Thursday night was a thirsty Thursday in college, and all right, we're going out, and it's like you go all out. Yeah. You got to release what you that week, and and that's the way, the society's way of saying the acceptable way to do it.
Yeah.
More health, like, and then continuing that, guys, like year after year, you realize like how unfulfilling and draining, unhealthy it is to like you're relating your stress response to like, oh, I need a drink, or your stress response to like, I need something. Like, you see like how unhealthy that is. Like, absolutely. Even till this day, sometimes you have to catch yourself, like if it's a bad day at school or at work, and it's like, oh, I could go home and have a glass of wine or something like that. But like how just unhealthy that is, relating my stress and like those emotions to, I need something that's not going to benefit me or do anything to my body. So but more healthy, I was during grad school. I was working in school full time, had an internship, and we really, like in social work, like you really like emphasis and focus on like self-care and like positive coping skills and stuff like that. And then I just realized like, whoa, what I was doing, like it was a coping mechanism, but not a healthy coping skill.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's forms of self-care that's, like you said, unhealthy, right? I was kind of in the same boat too in college. The pressures of being a student athlete and pressures to perform. So especially after a bad game, it's like, all right, let's go throw a couple back. You know what I mean? And it's not healthy.
No. Yeah. And it even caused more harm than good, because like you wake up the next morning and obviously you're not feeling well, but it's like you're tired, you're groggy, and like you still got to go to practice that day, and it's like you don't perform at practice, and that adds even more stress onto you. And so it's just like a full circle that you want to get out of.
Luckily I am a person that did not perform well like the day after partying. So whenever we had an early practice the next day, or whenever we had a game the next day or whatever, I never took a drink, because I did it one time, New Year's Eve 2010. We had practice at 8 a.m. and I'm just like paranoid, just like going through practice like, all right, I'm never doing this again. Never doing this again. But some people were really good at like functioning, and like they got 8 hours of sleep the night before. You know what I mean?
We do not condone that.
Yeah.
No.
Don't do that. No. But I feel like that's even more dangerous.
Yeah.
If you're able to function, and you're able to act like nothing happened.
That's a functioning alcoholic.
Yeah.
Like those are characteristics of a functioning alcoholic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what actually is self-care? Actually, no. We'll go back. let's get into the healthy part.
Yeah.
So when you started, doing self-care that was healthy and good for you, what did that look like?
It was like a release. It brought just more like joy and fulfillment, along with like kind of a reset.
Yeah.
Like after doing like those healthy skills, it was like when I was done, I felt good. Like I felt ready to like just keep pushing and keep going.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Man. Yeah. And I think you could tell when, the self-care is actually good for you, because you probably have that energy to go back and do your everyday life.
Yeah.
Get back and go to work on Monday or whatever that may be.
Yeah.
Because I know when I had unhealthy self-care activities, I didn't have the energy. I didn't feel well rested.
Yeah.
I may have had fun. So I think we can get into that in a little bit, but like there are some forms of self-care where you think like, oh, this is great, it's a good time.
Yeah.
But you don't feel rested.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, so in your definition, what exactly is self-care if you had to come up with a...
So my definition would be, I guess like techniques or activities or tactics to use to help reset your body, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all really aspects of your body, mentally, emotionally.
Right. Yeah. Simple enough.
Yeah.
Simple enough. Let's take a break here and then get back into it in a second. All right, we back. So we just covered your definition of self-care. You kind of touched on it a little bit.
Okay.
But what are some examples? Actually, you didn't touch on this. What are some examples of things that are not self-care, but people think it may be self-care? I guess we touched on it a little bit, but
yeah, I guess unhealthy ways. I don't know. The thing about self-care is that like it's different based on everybody.
Yeah.
Like there's no healthy skills, like things that like people are different. Obviously, different things are going to bring somebody joy,
right?
Or bring them like that comfort, that like that reset that they need.
Yeah.
We learned that in grad school. It was weird. We did a whole it was a whole class on self-care, and everybody had to like do like a trial, like find something that brings them joy and like do it through the whole, I think it was like 7-week course. And then we wrote a paper about it. And so it was crazy, like things that I would not find restful or like enjoyable, other people do. So like there was someone who wrote a paper on like sitting in their like they're going hunting and they love to sit in their, I think they were called blinds, like the in the trees. I don't know what they're called, but the little like shack things that are in the trees that they wait for deer for.
Yeah.
And he talked about how like that's like his best self-care and the best time because he's sitting alone, like that mental peace and just kind of by yourself. You do nothing but think and just process and reflect. And I was like, I guess I could see how that is, but like sitting in the cold for 8 to 12 hours and by myself, like
not me.
But for someone else, like that's a form of self-care.
Exactly.
Like I love baking. Baking is that's me. That's my self-care. Yeah. Like if I'm too stressed, that to-do list is going to be pushed to the side and I'm about to make some cookies. But like, and then other people said like, I've said going to the beach, like whether it's warm or cold and just walking in the sand, as a form of self-care, or like physical, like working out. People love to like release those endorphins and you know move their body and sweat. That's another form. So it's different based on everybody,
for sure.
But as long as it's bringing you, like it's going to better you as a person and like release those stress hormones and things, like it could be a form of self-care.
No doubt. Yeah, you made a really good point that I want to go back to. Okay. You said when you're stressed, there's a whole to-do list and you push them aside.
Yes.
And you get your bake on or whatever.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Absolutely. I mean, to a certain extent, yes. Yeah. So like if you're pushing that to-do list to the side days and days on end just because like you are so overwhelmed and you are stressed, not fam, like we got to figure out what is the deep root, like what are you avoiding. But like if a couple hours, like I know the things that maybe that are due at work on Monday, or just projects that I'm working on, like I'm gonna push them off for a couple hours so I can like really kind of get my mind right and just like woosah for a sec, and then so I'm back, I'm focused, I'm ready to go. So
that's, I think you hit the nail right on the head. Because I think of like student athletes, right? Maybe they say, I got to get to the gym today. I got to work out today because there's other people out there getting better, which may be true. But if you are extremely anxious, extremely stressed out, extremely distracted, will that 2 hours in the gym, like, will you really get better that day?
No. And it'll absolutely be ineffective more than it will be effective, because like that pressure, you're tense, you're like, you're not right, like, and you probably aren't going to perform well. You're not going to shoot well. Like your handling is going to be way off, and it's just going to frustrate you even more.
Exactly.
So it's like, take that hour or two, like even set a timer, give yourself another hour or two to maybe watch your favorite movie, or like read a book, or do some painting, or go for a walk. To like forget about it for a sec. And just like give yourself some time, and then you can go back. And then after those 2 hours, all right, it's time to go. Like, let's eat.
Yeah, that's so true. So I had a assistant coach in college. Josh knows who I'm talking about. But so it was after the season.
Okay.
And we usually got like a week and a half off after the season. Then we got back into workouts and stuff like that. And I took that week and a half off.
Yeah.
The entire week and a half.
Yeah.
Didn't touch a ball.
Good for you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I get back to the gym.
Yeah.
My coach was like, "What's up?" One of my coaches. I'm like, "Yo, nothing." I said, "What you been up to?" Nothing. So you ain't been in the gym? Nah.
It's called a break for a reason, sir.
Right. He was like, "Why? Why?" I'm like, "Cause it was a break.
Yeah.
Like we got time off, so I took it." He's like, nah, you need to be in the gym. I'm like, I mean, yeah, but it's good to take breaks sometimes. No, it ain't. I'm like looking at him. I'm like, was he kidding? Like, was he messing with me?
Yeah.
But he had a serious look on his face.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so you didn't take a break when you were hooping? He's like, no. Oh. I just like stared at him like, all right, he's gonna smile.
Yeah, but no.
I'm like, all right, for real? He's like, yeah. I'm like, why didn't you? Because other people out there getting better. I'm like, all right, bro.
Yeah.
All right. But like, no, I mean, teach his own, I guess.
Yeah. But rest is essential though.
Yeah.
Like you can't just keep putting that stress on your body.
Yeah.
Because like I found out, so high school, basketball was my coping skill. Like playing sports, like that was my mental, like reset. But then when you get to college, that's your job.
It's different,
and it's your job to perform well.
It's different.
And it's like when you need a break, I don't want to be in the gym. I don't want to see a basketball. I don't want to think about basketball.
Yeah.
Like, so I needed to find other ways to help my body reset, and to help me focus, and to help me like just kind of get my mind off of things.
Yeah, for sure. Golly. Yeah, me too. I guess that's a good segue to this question.
Okay.
Take yourself back to DU.
Okay.
Playing basketball. Coach Williams. Shout out Coach Williams. I saw him the other day.
Mike Will made it. And he's the dopest of all time.
Good dude.
Yes.
So you take yourself back there.
Okay.
What would you have done differently as a student athlete to like really take care of yourself in a good way?
Boundaries. Just like when you live like on campus and you are you live with your teammates, matter of fact, like, so you're with them 24. I mean, I obviously still love my teammates to this day, like Kia, Alex, like I love them. Maybe I even influence them as most of the time, but I'm just saying, when you are with them all the time, and it's like just you want to be social. Like you have these teammates. Oh, let's go to our other teammates' room. Like let's hang out. Like let's do this. Like you're go all the time.
Right.
And I really wish I would have took some time for myself, and to just be in my room and just like hanging out. But like, I don't know. It's college. Like you just want to do all the things, and it's like if you aren't going away for a game or if you don't have practice, like you want to be with people. And so it was like so many late nights and staying up and then waking up for like early and for class and then going to practice, and then it's like doing it all over again. For like I really wish I would have knew what I know now and just kind of really focus on like sleep and eating right. You go to the food court or the dining hall, and it's like you eat what's there, but also like they have unlimited like sandwiches and cereal and like ice cream and other stuff. So you get that every night too. It's like, oh, I'm going to practice tomorrow anyway, so like might as well
we'll burn it off.
Burn the calories, whatever. So
we ate so much ice cream. We used to be in Fresh Foods, our cafeteria, and we would be there for like 2 hours after practice, just chilling. Yeah.
Like you would get your pre-dinner and then sit there and talk for longer, then get your dinner and then realize the dining hall would close at a certain time, so get stuff to go so you could eat in the room.
Exactly. Like it would be funny, we would be talking and stuff like after we're kind of done eating. Yeah. So we'd be talking for like 10 minutes and like everybody be laughing like, bro, that was crazy. And it'd be like an awkward silence, like it would always be Nick Carreri. He'd be like, "Oh, so you want to get some ice cream?" Like, yeah, we get some ice cream. Yeah. So, for me, like you kind of alluded to it. It was basketball, right? I get out of basketball, whether there's a game or a practice. I'm walking home with my teammates. We get home. What do? We turn on the Xbox. We play NBA 2K.
Yeah.
And then 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Oh, the game is on. We watch basketball. So it was like, I never got away from it.
Never.
My mind was always like fixated on it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like ball is life was like a real thing.
Right.
And it didn't have to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for you to be successful in it and for you to be, to get where you wanted to go, it didn't have to be life.
Exactly.
And it still doesn't.
Right. Exactly. So. In a way, I envied Josh. Okay. Sometimes because he had friends outside of basketball. Because he walked on, he left, then he came back, but like he had other roommates that weren't basketball players, so he had the opportunity to hang out with guys that didn't play basketball, they didn't talk about basketball. It was almost like he was in a different world, you know, and it gave him a mental break from the game. So that's another thing I wish I would have done. I wish I would have been more involved on campus. I felt like, basketball's taking up so much time. I wish I wouldn't have made that excuse. Yeah. Whether that's, you know, in our dorm, you know, how they have events and stuff like that. I wish I would have mingled with other people. Yeah. Just different stuff. Yeah, just getting more involved. Yeah. So
whether it is, I know, I mean, sometimes they get bad reputations, but like now that I know what like fraternity and sororities like really are, like Davenport didn't have them, but like maybe like going to a different college, like I probably would have took advantage of that experience, like just getting other friends that are into other things and like maybe majoring in different things and and then, like they do a lot of like volunteer work and stuff like that. So like really just getting out and doing just anything else besides sports.
Man, Datus. Ooh. No, that was the only like experience I ever had with an HBCU was
Stomp the Yard.
For real. Like, but I went to Florida A&M last year.
FAMU.
It was so dope.
Yeah.
And it made me kind of sad. Like I wish I would have
missed out on experience.
I would have had that opportunity. But
but I'm glad that like these young kids are like it's like popular now and like they're getting more experience and more like educated on it, just because I feel like if we would told mom and dad in high school like I want to go to HBCU and they've been like no.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
Probably not. No. So advice time for the student athletes out there.
Okay.
This might be off top of your head, but I'm asking you anyway.
Ask me.
If you could come up with maybe 3 steps to come up with a self-care plan
Okay.
for a student athlete out there that is struggling,
Mm-hmm.
what would you advise them to do?
Okay. So write a list of everything that you enjoy, doing.
Yeah.
That does not have to do with the sport that you play. So, like if I think about my list, I would say like other things that bring me joy would be like baking, reading, watching movies, coloring, um, just stuff like that, like small things. It doesn't have to be anything you have to spend money on. It can be stuff that it's around the house. I love going for walks. That's been huge. Like going for walks for me, just like getting out in that fresh air and nature and.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like a lot of things. Sorry, not to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But like, I think a lot of people overthink self-care. Like, I gotta go to the spa. I gotta go.
I need a massage. I need my nails done.
Need
to get,
like, it could be as simple as taking a walk.
It literally taking a 30-minute walk. A 30-minute walk does wonders to your mental health.
Yeah.
Just that, like the release, like you are releasing those stress hormones, but also like the exercise too, and then just like that mental clarity, like being able to think.
For sure.
But sorry, yeah. So, like coloring, going for walks, whether it be, I don't know, any like arts and crafts. That's me. So
that's a good one.
Make a list of things that you enjoy doing that's outside of sports, and then get your calendar out, and plan to do those things.
Yeah.
So if it's something that's like I'm gonna take a walk on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or I'm gonna spend 20 minutes doing coloring or doing a word search or whatever for 20-30 minutes.
Yeah.
Do those things. Plan it once a day. And then the third action is do them.
Right.
Because when you get into the habit of spending that time with yourself, every day, like it's a lifestyle.
Right.
So using like self-care, it's definitely add it to your lifestyle.
No doubt.
It should be a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
So that time you park out to go hang out with your friends, that 20 minutes or 30 minutes before should be time with yourself first.
Absolutely. What about the individuals that say, well, so-and-so, is asking me to do this, so I have to do this for my mom. I have to do this for my coach. I have to do these things for my friends. I don't have time.
But what about yourself?
What about me?
What about yourself?
What about me?
So, okay. So, I'm like, we're going to use like the airplane analogy. Like, when you're on an airplane, if you've ever been on an airplane, they go through the whole spiel before you take off. And it's like when the breathing things come down, you put it on yourself first before you help the person next to you. Right?
It's pretty good.
Right?
It's pretty good.
So, help yourself breathe first before you try and help somebody else.
Exactly.
And this is a message to myself.
Yeah.
I'm one to like impulsively say yes to anything and everything. And then when it's like finally too late, or when I'm like at my burnt out breaking point, whatever, and I'm like, oh man, I need to do this for myself. And it's like, but when I notice a big difference, like in the morning, if I'm getting up and like reading my Bible and having a cup of coffee to myself, or even when I like come home from work, if it like not right now because it's too dark, but come home and like go for a walk, or if I go for a walk in the morning, like that time to myself and to like process and just think and like just start my day slow, is been huge for my mental health.
It works wonders.
Yeah.
Works wonders. Yeah, that's the same with me. Like having that time of silence for me. So I'm obviously not obviously, but I'm introverted. So stuff like this, it's hard for me, but I'm just doing it because I love helping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so too, sorry not to cut you off,
no,
but like people say this and it's so cliche, but it's so true. Like you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
Like can't. So you got to stop pouring into everybody else's cup. Like if there's nothing left in yours.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Man, there's an Andy Mineo line that was in my head, but I lost it.
Sorry, that was my fault.
No, you're good. You're good. But basically what he was saying was, how can I really care for others when I can't even care for myself?
Something about a light.
Huh?
Did you say something about no? Okay.
I don't know.
No. Okay.
I don't know. Sorry, Andy. I know like all your verses, but
you have to play. You can play it right now.
We won't be able to put it on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we would get flagged.
Oh,
you know,
you don't want that.
That's all good.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think that's good advice for sure. The key word that I heard was, or the key phrase was basically do it.
Do it.
Make time for it. Make time for yourself. Because if you don't do it, you're not going to be the best version of yourself.
No.
So we could talk in athlete language. If you want that championship, if you want that Division 1 offer, Division 2, 3, whatever, any college, if you want to play on the next level, like this is something that you absolutely have to do.
This is a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
For real. And even so, a lot of people are like, oh, my self-care is like hanging out with friends or like whatever, and that's great. Like you can do that, be social, like that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But also like you need that time to yourself and to reflect on your feelings and reflect on how you're feeling.
Right.
I always say that like feelings are indicators, not dictators.
Yeah.
So if you are emotional, if you are stressed, if you are like whatever those big feelings that you're feeling, it's something like your body's telling you something.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be a dictator of your behavior. Like you shouldn't be out like doing things you're not supposed to or lashing out at people or treating people any type of way because of that.
Right.
Your body's telling, like those feelings are indicating what's really going on with your body. And so sitting alone and processing mentally by yourself, like it's going to help you figure that out.
Right. I think some people might push back and say, I don't think they would say this. I think most people wouldn't admit this, that they're afraid to be alone in silence.
They probably won't admit it, but it's probably that's the truth.
Yeah.
Because we run away from uncomfortable feelings, like sitting by yourself, like, and I'm not sitting by yourself, like scrolling on your phone, not like with the TV on or whatever. No, like sitting in yourself in pure silence, TV off, no distractions, like no scrolling on TikTok, whatever. It can be absolutely uncomfortable to think about it and to process those feelings that you have or emotions, because you're probably going to start thinking about things that you've been compartmentalizing and trying not to deal with. And so that 20 to 30 minutes by yourself, like that's going to make you deal with those.
Exactly.
But the more you do it, the more comfortable you become in it.
Yeah.
I used to hate being by myself. Like I used to hate like sitting alone. Like, and even like till this day, I really struggle with like, oh, like looking around, like trying to avoid things. But like when I sit and like, even if I like maybe play like maybe like a worship playlist or like just instrumentals, not words, I'm gonna get distracted, but like just like light, like white noise.
Yeah.
And close my eyes and like really like meditate on what's going on. That is it's the difference right there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Whatever we go through, like we gotta face it.
You have to.
We have to face it. I know there's people out there that are like busybodies that dive into their work or dive into their sport, just to maybe avoid the loss of a loved one or a hard time.
Yeah.
But like it's only gonna prolong that pain. You might not feel the pain, but it's gonna come back up. So at a time where you absolutely at the worst time possible. You know what I'm saying? You're basically covering up a deep wound with a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to keep changing that Band-Aid. But when you actually attack that and go through it and visit it consistently, that's how those wounds continue to heal.
And even just think about like it's almost like a pipe, or even like you shake up a bottle, like just think about yourself just like shaking like a pop bottle, like I'm thinking of, and then like it keeps shaking, the pressure keeps building and building and building, and eventually it's gonna bust.
Right.
And that's the same way like our bodies are. Like if you are like holding all that stuff inside, like, and it just keeps like, all right, stuff, school, like you get a bad grade on a test, you're not doing well in social studies, and then you go home and you're getting yelled at because your room's not clean, or you're supposed to go do something for your little brother or sister, or you're supposed to mow the lawn, or like just the stuff at home builds up, and then it's like, oh, your boyfriend breaks up with you, or your girlfriend breaks up with you, or your friends are mad at you because you missed this event, and it's like it keeps piling up, like you are gonna bust.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be.
It's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Great analogy. Dang. It's a lot of good stuff. I feel like we could go on.
I could go on for days.
Yeah, we might have to do it again. I hope that was helpful for everybody.
Yeah.
Let's end on a lighter note here.
Okay.
So, let's do one athlete that you follow right now that you just are like, yeah.
You know who? Like, and I just love. Well, just one. Okay, yes, just one.
You can do 3.
No, it's fine. I'm gonna say Simone Biles.
Okay.
Like,
she made a nice comeback.
A nice comeback, but also like for her, the last Olympics, and for her to really struggle, and have that mental block, and she could not perform, and decided to take a step back. Like, it just says so much about her and her character to speak out on it, and then come back.
Kill the game.
And she's still killing it. Like, she's technically old for gymnastics.
Yeah.
For the age. But she's coming back, and she's stronger and better, and she's killing it. And so it just talks about perseverance and doing what you need to do for your body in order to perform at your best.
See?
Boom.
Learn.
Boom.
Learn. We gotta learn. We gotta learn from the greatest of all time. Like, she took a break.
Yeah.
You know?
Took a step back. Supported her got married, supported her husband for a little bit.
Exactly.
That was probably self-care for her. I don't know. She didn't say it, but I'm sure it was.
Right. Like, we're regular people, you know. We say oh, what about I gotta do this for my friend? I gotta do this for my mom, my dad. Like, she had millions of people loving to watch her perform. And she was like, I need to do this for me.
And then talked so badly about her, as she was made that decision. And that's another thing, though. People, sorry, I didn't mean to keep going, but people are gonna you're gonna upset somebody. You're gonna have to say no. You're gonna have to take a step back, and it's gonna upset somebody. Your best friend might be upset. Your girlfriend might be upset. Your parents might not really understand, but it's only you know your body and you know what you need.
Exactly.
And so you got to let them be upset, because you got to do what's best for you in that moment. Don't be disrespectful to your parents. I don't condone that. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying if you need 20-30 minutes, you just let them know Mom, I fully intend on doing X, Y, and Z. I just need 30 minutes to myself for a second.
Yeah.
I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Right. Parents, you hear that? You hear that?
We even just talked about this today at work. We parents, and even people who work with kids, it's we do what we need to do for our bodies and make sure that our needs are met.
Yeah.
But we don't give kids the same chance. We don't give them the same chance.
Let's do this now.
It's do it now when I say, because I said so. If they communicate that their needs, that they need a few minutes, what is the harm in giving them a few minutes?
Right.
To make sure that their mind is right.
Yeah.
I'd rather you do what you need to do to get your mind right than us having a conversation a little bit later about something totally different.
Yeah.
And that's not what you want to hear.
Exactly. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Well, thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
It was nice to meet you.
What is wrong with you?
No, but for real, thank you. Yeah. Appreciate you stopping by and talking about self-care. I hope it was helpful.
I hope it was, yeah.
For y'all.
Hey, reach out to y'all we can talk all the self-care. Give you tips, tricks.
For sure. Yeah, follow us on social media. The Chosen Was GR on Instagram, on not Twitter, X. And you can find us at The Chosen Was GR as well on Facebook as well. Reach out to us.
Please.
Yeah, if you're in the Grand Rapids area and you want to work with TCA, holler at us. We'd love to work with you and your team or your program, whatever that may be.
Your players.
So, yeah. Also, visit thechosenwasgr.com for merch.
Hey!
Shameless plug. No, I appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcast app as well. So, yeah, share this episode out if you enjoyed it. And tune in next time. Until next time, deuces.